For decades now, the Toyota 4Runner body-on-frame SUV has remained unchallenged. Yes, you could say that the Nissan Xterra that existed from the late 90s or so to the mid 2010s was a direct rival, but really it wasn't as good as the 4Runner. And Nissan didn't care enough to give it a third generation to really take it to Toyota. And we've been asking for Nissan to bring the Xterra back, and they just haven't done it. Other markets, you have like Ford and the Everest. Unfortunately, in the United States, we don't get that vehicle. Maybe it's because they want to protect the Bronco naming. Are we just waiting, crossing our fingers that Nissan will eventually bring back the Xterra? I think so. But what if somebody else came out of nowhere and slapped Toyota? There's an interview over at Car Sales in Australia. All right. And they're talking about the Kia Tasman getting reformed into an SUV. Real quick, the Tasman, again, the truck, the Ute for Kia that we don't get in the United States. I mean, the styling has grown on me. When I first saw it, I'm like, man, the wheel arches, they look really stupid. But honestly, it's starting to grow on me with the design. And we know Kia does interiors really well too. I mean, look at this 360 camera with the invisible vehicle. They seem to be doing it better than anyone else. And look at this ambient lighting, which I don't really care much for ambient lighting, but the dual screens in here, the fold out work table, the hiding storage above the wheel arches, would that carry over to an SUV? I highly doubt it, but the Tasman's here to have that sort of functionality. You can get in a single cab too, which, man, I would love to have a single cab pickup truck. They're very few and far between nowadays. And look at this interior. This would spell trouble for Toyota, in my opinion. All right, Toyota's interior, I guess it is fairly functional on the 4Runner, but even on the upper trims, it still feels pretty cheap. Look at this nice slotted armrest here. Look at all the tech in this vehicle. Even I love the cloth on the dash. All right. Now, maybe there's a little bit too much roundedness, a little bit maybe Genesis-like with the rounded design features in here. I like this knurling on this door handle, ventilated seats. You have the heated steering wheel button there. It's a weird place for it, but I'm glad it has a heated steering wheel. Memory seats as well. A volume dial. Here's your placement for the air conditioned vents. Very simple toggle switches for climate control as well, temperature control. I mean, works for me. Is it as functional as dials? And the answer is no, but it's not that far behind in terms of functionality. All right, steering wheel looks great. Again, everything's digital. And that's one thing I have an issue with Kias. What was the last Kia I drove? I don't know. It's not coming to me, but I couldn't see the screen behind the steering wheel that operates the digital climate control. So it's a bit frustrating because the steering wheel cuts it off. But you have the dual charger down here, your USB-Cs, and I like how it's that like recycled plastic sort of insert. You have the rear seats that fold up. You have the X Pro and X Line for the more rugged models. Kia has all sorts of customization, of course, you can do to the truck. There's some B-lock tires and wheels. Let's see here. What is this one? Basic. You have side running boards, things like that. In terms of powertrains, this could be a bit tricky for this vehicle if it were to come here as an SUV, the Tasman SUV. All right. Well, could we see a manual? Could you imagine a manual SUV body on frame in the United States? I can't. I don't think it would come here. Would I want it? Heck to the yes. But I don't think it will. I mean, you kind of have manuals, right? Don't you still have manuals in the Bronco and the Wrangler? So maybe they would. Maybe they would be ballsy enough to try it. But the 8-speed automatic is going to be your main transmission here. Now, there's a turbo diesel at 2.2 liter. Again, that would not make it here. And then you also have the 2.5 liter turbo 4-cylinder. That's a very perky engine, over 300 pound-feet of torque. Close to 300 horsepower, depending on the configuration. All right. And if they go straight after Toyota and say, hey, we're going to come out with a truck hybrid, that would be cool. You have to, or should I say SUV hybrid with a truck platform. Kia has mentioned and confirmed that they're coming out with an electric pickup in the United States, and it probably will have Tasman vibes to it. And maybe here's the thing. They can't bring the Tasman to the United States for the chicken tax because it would be tariffed over 50%. Think about that, 50%. All right. So there's no way they could bring the Tasman unless they built in the United States, like in Georgia at one of their plants. But they could import the Tasman SUV because it is technically not a truck, it's an SUV. So obviously, so they would still be hit with a 25% tariff and not with a 50% tariff because it wouldn't be hit with that additional chicken tax. Now, when could we expect this? Well, there's Kia in Australia is saying if Tasman's a success, that will open many doors. So let's get the Tasman right first. Well, I think they got the Tasman right. Let's take a breath. The media was asking for a Ute for 10 years, not ruling out the project. Okay, so we know it's body on frame. It has leaf rear springs, very old school, and it has a live rear axle, very old school. And the latest technologies like frequency selective shock absorbers, it's going to make for a pretty decent ride despite kind of old but tested suspension and body on frame technology. If you look over in Australia, the best selling SUVs are all body on frame 4x4s. The Prado, which is a J250 Land Cruiser that we also get, Ford Everest, and the Isuzu MUX. Now, the Kia Tasman is expected to go on sale in Australia this year. All right, so it hasn't quite gone on sale yet, because if I go to the official page, it says reserve yours now. It looks better and better the more I see it, and I think it looks best with the paint matched fender arches. I'm really romanticizing over this idea. No one's had the balls, other than Nissan, you could say, to challenge the 4Runner directly stateside. You could say the Wrangler and the Bronco sort of do it, but they're not even in the same like ballpark. All right. This would exactly be in the same ballpark as the 4Runner / Land Cruiser, right? They say it competes against a J250. You got to keep in mind, in other markets like Australia, they don't get the 4Runner. They get the Land Cruiser J250 Prado. All right. We're lucky enough to get both of them in the United States. And unfortunately, we don't get all the powertrains on the J250 that I wish we would, like a diesel, but it is what it is. All right. But the Tasman SUV, I think the market's ready for it. And if they could come out with a hybrid to challenge Toyota's, top end hybrid offerings, that's great. But that wouldn't be a deal breaker for me. All right. I know, Hyundai and Kia's turbo 2.5 liter is plenty strong. I mean, best in class tub space. I mean, that wouldn't happen here because we wouldn't get the truck unless they build it here, which Hyundai and Kia absolutely should be building a truck in the United States, not named the Santa Cruz, unless they convert the Santa Cruz into body on frame. Hyundai and Kia should enter the small pickup truck market in the United States, body on frame, build them here, and then have SUV variants of them and really shake things up. All right. I understand that, look at Nissan. It was suicide to enter that market, at least on the large pickup truck. I'm not asking them to do a full-size pickup truck in America to go against an F-150. I think that is suicide. All right, Toyota is the only one to successfully have some fighter in that segment with the Tundra, but this would compete against the Tacoma. Look, the Tacoma is now not that desirable due to its 2.4 liter turbo engine. It's built in Mexico. It's not the same truck. All right, I would take, as you guys know, if you've been watching the channel, I would be taking the Nissan Frontier every single time over a Tacoma. It's cheaper. It's more enjoyable to drive. It feels great. It feels old school, and it has a big fat V6 in it. If Kia could bring this SUV into America with a fat V6, that would be great. More than likely be the turbo 4-cylinder. Or like I said, maybe a hybrid variant of it. But we need more competition, not only in this truck space, in my opinion, the mid-size truck space, but most importantly, so that the 4Runner has a direct competitor. The 4Runner sits in that segment alone, and it is unchallenged, and it has been unchallenged for about a decade since the last Xterra left our market. But I'm going to end it there. Thank you guys for watching. I want a Tasman SUV really badly. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. I can't wait to see your comments down below. It seems like Kia is working on an SUV of this. Will it come to America is the big question. If it doesn't come to America, oh, that's a gut punch. This truck already not being here is a gut punch, in my opinion. Hyundai Kia need to find a way to build these body-on-frame vehicles in the United States to avoid the tariffs, also the chicken tax, which is a tariff. But I got to shut it down. It's a fun topic to think about. We need this competition. We need this vehicle and the SUV in America. And who would have thought Kia would be doing it? Have a great day and peace.